Hey guys, Saturday morning. I got some stuff for you today. Uh, my garden's in need of a bit of renovation. I've been here about 2 years now. Haven't really touched the garden, so I'm in the throes of that. So today I'm going to be laying some patio slabs and then digging a bit of a trench, and then tomorrow I'm going to build a wall. So stay tuned. And we'll get into that. But before I start doing any stuff, what I like to know is what I'm going to be eating later. I always find that doing stuff is much easier if I know that at the end of it I'm going to be eating good food. So while I'm doing my stuff, I'm going to be today smoking some pork shoulder. So let's head over to the kitchen and we'll get that started before we start some stuff. Barbecue's on. Just let that get up to temperature while we prep the pork. I'm keeping an eye on the temperature on my smoke receiver, which is part of the ThermoPro smoke. About 60 quid on Amazon, great big kit. Bottom one will be stuck in the meat later. So this bit of meat actually is just a bit of pork from my local supermarket. All I've done is take the rind off, trim a bit of the fat. You don't really want that, doesn't render down properly. In terms of rub, I'm going to be using this Sweet Bones and Butts. Comes from Angus and Oink, about 10 quid for 200ml, pretty good value. Had it on some ribs last week, tastes great. So I'm just going to liberally apply this. Using a foil tray just to catch any of the gubbins, or to say the gubbins, any of the sort of overspill. I'm going to try and get this on the edge as well. I haven't put any oil or mustard on it like the Americans do. I think this pork joint was quite wet anyway, but just make sure you get it in all of the holes. What I should be doing is not using this hand for this, but I'll clean down the pot afterwards, just to avoid any contamination. For those of you who are going to comment about that, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to give it a good rub around. What I should say is this is a boneless pork joint from the supermarket. Most people, I guess, would go for bone in from the butchers. I haven't, I didn't have time. So there is this little flap on there. I'm going to get some rub in there as well, quite liberally. Rub it in. Pat that in. Make sure everything's covered. And that is ready for the barbecue. We are about 112 on the Smoke Pro 113 now. I'm going to close down some vents on the barbecue, get the pork on, and get on with some stuff. And it's connected up over there, and I'm just going to whack some hickory chunks in the fire bowl. The lid back on, and just so get the lid back on. Leave that for about 4 hours until we're seeing like 75 internal temperature on the pork, then I'll wrap it. In the meantime, let's do some stuff. So as you can see, garden's in a bit of a state. Been here 2 years now. Renovated most of the inside of the house, but yeah, I'm going to make a bit of an effort to do the garden. So today going to be, like I said, just filling in this line of slabs. Going to be mixing up some mortar and popping them in. I'll show you how I'm going to cut the slabs, I'm going to mix the mortar, and yeah. So This is one of the slabs I'm going to be laying in the garden today, well, a portion of it. Laid a couple already. These are just utility slabs from B&Q. They cost about £5. What I'm going to be doing is cutting a section to fit the space that I've got in the garden. And before I do that, I'm going to go and measure it, because that's a key component. So I have measured my gap, so I want to cut this slab 190mm wide. So what I'm going to be doing is I am going to, where did I put that? In my pocket. What I'm going to be doing is measuring that off, marking across, and then using my hammer and bolster, I am going to chip away at it and until it breaks. Okay, so marked my line. Now I'm going to get to chopping. So there we go. We have breakthrough, and that's pretty good for what I want. Okay, the slabs are cut, they're all ready to go in. I'm going to mix up some cement to bed them in, some mortar. So I've got a bit of plastic down. This is just a heavy rubble sack which I've just cut in half. That's just to protect the rest of the tiles. I don't have a mixer, so I'll be doing this by hand. Got some sharp sand and some cement. I'll be doing a 4:1 ratio, and then so I'll just get that out of the bags. We'll come back, we'll add some water, 4:1, give it a bit of a dry mix, and now I'm just adding some water to this in the middle. Don't want to add too much at this stage, I don't want it too wet. That looks okay for now. I can always add some more in a bit. So I'm just going to start mixing this from the outside in, and then once that's all mixed with the water, I'll give it a bit more of a, so I'm just using this at the moment, but I've got my spade on hand. I'll give it a bit of a mix in a bit, so mix all this up till it's the right consistency, and then we'll see. So I've got some mortar, I'm going to put it in the holes, and then lay some slabs. So I've got some cement in the hole. I'm just going to give this a bit of a flatten out, give it a bit of, make sure it goes in all the gaps. Okie dokie, let's get the and there we go. I'll give that a little level up, but that's essentially it. Not perfect by any means, but it's in there now, and yeah. Okay, so we're at 72.5-ish. We're well into the stall, so let's have a look. It's got some good bark. So I'm going to take this off, pop it in this tray, add a bit of cider, cover it with foil, pop it back on. Okay, so we're back on the barbecue now. We've wrapped and poured some cider in. I'm going to get the lid back on. And what we're aiming for is around 95 on the internal of the meat, and then we'll take it off and that'll be ready to rest and pull. So while the barbecue finishes the pork off, I'm going to drink the rest of this cider and then get on with some more stuff. The plan for this area of the garden is to have a sort of barbecue area over here, and then a raised sort of herb vegetable garden in here about that high eventually. So 2 blocks high. I'm going to build a wall and render it. I'll render all that as well, but the stuff I'm going to do now, I'm going to clear all this away and get my dig on. I'll be putting all the soil into bags so I can tip it back in the planter once I've built it, I guess. So yeah, gonna get my dig. So I've been digging for half an hour now. Piled all these bin bags up, well not bin bags, rubble sacks full of the soil. I've just marked out this line here, which is going to be the edge of the brick wall that goes down. So what I'm going to do now is spend my effort just digging a trench here, so that I can then put a foundation in and build the wall on top. I'm going to be building on top of the rest of this wall that's already here, but I need to put a foundation in here, so that's where I'm going to spend my effort now. My trench is dug. I am out of breath because digging is hard and I am unfit. I've lowered my line, so I've got the outer edge of the wall all marked. What I'm going to do tomorrow, because I'm into B&Q, is put some hardcore in, put a layer of cement in for foundation, and then build a wall. But for today, that is some stuff. We're at 86 on the thermometer. Still a way to go. I want to get up to 95. Dropped in temperature a bit, so I've just whacked open the vent, see if I can get a bit more heat. I'll probably run out of coal, but we'll see later if that keeps dropping. It's still smoking away there, but but I'm knackered, so I'm going to tidy up, grab a shower, and we'll come back when we're taking this off. No dark outside, but we have got 94.5 on the thermometer, so let's have a look, see what the pork's saying. Looks damn good. So I'm going to get this wrapped in foil and then pop it in my multicoloured meat bucket. Hey, so it's the end of the day. It's been a busy one. I say it's been a busy one. So I've done some patio, dug a trench, and smoked some pork. And let's see what that looks like. So I've got my trusty meat cooler next to me here. This pork has been resting for about 40 minutes, I'd say. I couldn't wait any longer. So we're going to unwrap this. That looks smashing. Oh, you can see that. That looks really good. So I'm going to put that back in the juices, which it cooked in earlier. Let's remove that foil. And then we'll hopefully see that break down into pulled pork. Because we took this to 95, that's when all the fat breaks down. So just going to rash this up. Oh yeah, that's soft. Let's have a little taste. That is delicious. I'm going to load up some buns with some homemade slaw, and I'm going to get amongst it. So the buns are ready, fully loaded with pork and slaw. So I'm going to be pairing these with beer. It can be any beer, but today I'm pairing it with Arbor's All the Mo's. It's one that I've not tried before. So let's smash it in. Well, that's delicious. And this is just what I need after a day's work. So I'm going to go and eat it. You stay safe and remember to do some stuff.